Hey class, my name is James Logan. I'm going to be talking through Unit 2's discussion for LE300J that we're going through, mainly focusing on the movie Psycho for today in this discussion and some of those things we got to watch. So I'll get right into the question that I was given. This question was the third question on that list. So it goes, discuss one of the dominant motifs or visual themes that Hitchcock constructs within the film. These themes are birds, taxidermy, money, or eyes. How do these themes allow us to see Norman as both harmless and terrifying? What does your theme hide about the serial killer? And what does your theme reveal about the serial killer? So to start off, I'm going to talk about both the birds and the taxidermy because I think they kind of go hand in hand in this scene. So in the scene I really want to focus on is when Norman takes in Miss Crane, Marion Crane, into the boardroom right when she's kind of gotten to this hotel for the first time. And in the boardroom, we get to see all of his birds that he has taxidermied all on the shelves and up on the walls. And he gives Marion a platter with food on it and some drinks, and they start having this discussion. So they kind of get into that whole theme of, hey, you have these birds and what are they? And he says, or Marion says, are they a hobby? Everybody needs a good hobby. And Norman's response to that is, it's more than a hobby. It's a hobby because a hobby should pass the time, not fill it. And I want to kind of stop right there because we all have hobbies normally of some type, especially if you're an artistic person or like using your hands for anything, right? For me, myself, some of my hobbies are woodworking and leatherwork, right? So I even have my own wallet that I've created right here, leather wallet. And funnily enough, it is kind of the same concept as taxidermy, right? You're using the carcass of a dead animal, and it has to be treated properly and tanned and then cared for in order to turn it into a product that you can then make a final product out of, right? So in theory, a pretty harmless hobby in general. Some might argue that maybe taxidermy is creepy and weird because you're dealing with dead bodies, and I can totally understand that. And you might even be able to argue that with leatherwork itself, right? But in this reality is for Norman, it's not just a hobby itself, but it's actually this thing that he obsesses about, right? And it's something that he says is more than just a hobby because it fills his time, isn't just something that helps pass it, right? So that's really what I want to focus on as the creepy part, not necessarily taxidermy. And that, in my eyes, is something that makes him harmless or makes him appear as if he is a perfectly normal person with a good hobby. But when he starts saying that it is something he obsesses about and really focuses on, that's when I think it's kind of should indicate that okay, maybe he is a little terrifying as well, right? And then it goes on from there and he explains, hey, I like to stuff birds because I hate the look of beasts. I like birds because they are passive. And that's this another like key little thing that shows us, kind of reveals us some things about Norman that really he probably wants to avoid the beast because they are predators and maybe dangerous to him, and he doesn't want to do that. That's kind of what makes him a little less scary. He's kind of harmless. He's maybe scared of beasts and would rather do something passive like birds. But I think there's another key thing that's revealed here in this scene is that he focuses on flying birds, right? Birds with the ability to fly. And then the whole discussion kind of transitions later on into being in a trap in life, right? And Marion kind of talks about the trap that she's in, and then Norman says people never run away from anything. What are you running away from? Because he finds Marion unique in the fact that she's running away from something. And then he goes on to say, we are all in our private traps and can never come out. I was born in mine, right? And he kind of reveals to us that he feels trapped in where he's at, especially as Norman, right? So not as his mother or in his own head as his mother's psyche, but Norman feels very trapped where he's at and he would like to escape. And I think that's another key thing that is shown with these flying birds, right? These birds that have the ability to fly is they can escape, they can fly away, they can go to a new world, they can fly and get above all of their problems. And I think deep down inside that's something that Norman longs for, and that's kind of revealed in this passive way with those birds, right? And he even kind of finishes off with saying, I'd like to get out of my trap too, there at the end. So those are some things that I think are revealed in that scene, specifically about his hobby of taxidermy, focusing on those passive birds that have the ability to fly. So let me know what you think. If you disagree or you think maybe there's something to add to that, let me know and throw it in on your video. Thanks, guys. Look forward to some more classes and some more interesting movies to watch. All right.